Academic integrity in the age of generative AI. First of all, a little bit of information about generative AI, such as ChatGPT. It's essentially just a chatbot that is trained on a large language learning model. What that means is that these programs are trained from a large corpus, which is Latin for body, of texts. The AI program is trained on this very large corpus of material so that its output mimics natural language patterns used in those texts and also pulls information from this body of text. We don't have a lot of transparency so far as to which texts and materials comprise the corpus, and ChatGPT and similar programs do not usually cite the sources of the information they output. Furthermore, there's no guarantee as to the accuracy or ethics of the information provided, so the output of AI may not even be accurate, true, or real. Keeping in mind the mechanics of generative AI programs and how they work, let's review the concept of academic integrity as provided here by the UNC Writing Center. Academic integrity is defined as the commitment to honest and moral behavior in an academic setting. Usually that refers to providing credit to other people when using their ideas, or acknowledging how others' contributions have influenced our own thoughts and work. We talk a lot about ensuring academic integrity by accurately citing sources, avoiding cheating, and avoiding plagiarism, which is a failure to provide acknowledgement of a source of information in a way that makes it seem like that information or idea came from the student or writer's own mind or own creation. So academic dishonesty, that lack of or fault in academic integrity, is defined here by UC San Diego as when a student attempts to attain academic credit through untrustworthy means. So the issue with academic dishonesty is that it misrepresents a student's own work and therefore their own knowledge and abilities. It also then undermines the instructor's capacity or ability to fairly and accurately assess student learning. When academic dishonesty occurs, our effort to assess student work becomes undermined, which means in turn that it erodes the university's ability to genuinely certify a student's knowledge and abilities. When we confer a certificate, such as a degree, on students upon graduation, that is us as a university certifying that the student knows and can do and has gone through the educational experience required of their degree. So it erodes our ability to certify students as having achieved their degree requirements. Plagiarism specifically is the act of representing the work of another as one's own without providing appropriate credit. And notice in San Jose University's definition here, the phrase, regardless of how that work was attained. This means plagiarism includes academic dishonesty issues such as cheating, copying, purchasing work from something like a paper mill, and also now the unauthorized use of reliance upon AI to replace genuine student ideas and work. So notice the phrase here at the bottom, the deceitful or misleading representation of your work. So the issue then becomes, since we know that generative AI pulls from a corpus of sources but does not always acknowledge those sources, it makes accurate citation problematic. We lose the ability to cite sources accurately, so almost by default we are committing academic dishonesty unless we cite that we have used AI and the specific name of the program we have used. If a student uses AI to complete coursework without proper acknowledgement of those ideas or writing, the student has risk committing academic dishonesty and plagiarism. Here are some general guidelines for avoiding academic dishonesty and ensuring your academic career is approached with integrity. First, understand that whether an instructor or professor chooses to allow AI will depend on context. For some tasks, courses, or fields of study, AI may be more permissible or sensible than others. You may have some instructors who allow the free use of AI to support learning objectives, others who assign tasks exploring the output of AI and thinking critically about AI's output, and others who prohibit AI usage completely. This difference in approaches exists because learning objectives for different courses and assignments are different. If in doubt, ask your instructor whether AI use would be appropriate for specific assignments or academic tasks. In general, though, avoid the use of AI unless specifically approved by your instructor in each individual course and on each individual academic task. Trust that your instructor is an expert in their own field who's thought carefully about whether AI use is appropriate in their course, and who has your best interest in mind and wants you to learn. A few more specific guidelines here on the right. First, avoid submitting AI-generated text as your own writing. Never copy and paste writing from AI output into your own document, whether in large or small sections, or submit AI output as your own writing. Second, avoid over-reliance on AI programs that edit or revise work. Programs such as Grammarly now include AI features, but what we're noticing is that these programs are revising student writing so extensively that the final product is very far removed from the student's original writing. It no longer resembles the student's own writing or accurately represents the student's voice, style, ideas, and abilities. Lower-level editing, such as adding a comma or correcting subject-verb agreement, may be permissible, but uses of AI that completely change phrasing are more problematic. Third, avoid replacing essential learning skills with AI. Your courses are designed to provide practice on honing your skills, not just to produce products such as essays or tests, but to become smarter and more creative thinkers, more reflective and confident writers, and better at analysis and expression. For example, since brainstorming may be a learning objective of a course such as composition, using AI instead of your own brainstorming process may jeopardize the learning that those assignments are designed to help you practice. Never allow your use of AI to bypass your own intellectual development. The University of Notre Dame here provides more on that point. We come to the university not just in pursuit of a degree or of career-specific skills, but also to become more intellectual, to think through new ideas, to practice consilience or adaptability of thought. So the university in Notre Dame here says, education consists not only of the accumulation of knowledge, but more importantly of the development of wisdom and understanding. And yes, some tools may be helpful to that, and new technology may present new opportunities, but also expose us to risks that threaten to undermine this growth and development. And here in bold, when students use generative AI such as ChatGPT to replace the rigorous demands of and personal engagement with their coursework, it runs counter to the educational mission of the university and undermines the heart of education itself. So in addition to avoiding academic dishonesty and ensuring that your educational career is operated with academic integrity, there are some other reasons to avoid over-reliance on or unauthorized use of AI in your coursework and your life. One that's not represented here on the slide is that there are certainly ethical and environmental concerns with AI, which I urge you to look into more if those issues interest you. For example, the water usage that's required just to run these programs, the labor exploitation involved, critical questions such as who profits off of these programs, issues such as potential bias in the sources that are used or in ChatGPT's output, which ideas or perspectives are likely to be represented and which are not. In addition to those concerns and the importance of avoiding academic dishonesty, here are a few reasons why some instructors may require that their students avoid AI usage on certain tasks or in general. First, AI does not produce any new or original thoughts. Instead, it's a sort of regurgitation. Consider this metaphor. The corpus or body of sources that programs such as ChatGPT pull from is like a big lake, and all these sources make up the lake. Yes, within that lake may be interesting, new, creative, exciting, unique, and divergent thoughts, but when we mix a lot of colors or colorful ideas together, we get a grayish-brown sludge. When you turn on the faucet of ChatGPT, what comes out is that gray sludge. It's usually low-hanging fruit, the lowest common denominator, or most commonly thought ideas. One thing we want to practice at the university or in academia is thinking of new and interesting ideas, and AI does not and cannot do that for us. Here in the middle, like we talked about, using AI to replace writing and other cognitive tasks defeats the purpose of those assignments. Writing itself is an act of learning and reflection that requires you to think through your ideas as you work through the writing process. And that itself is actually the goal of those assignments and your courses, even more so than the production of an essay or other work. Furthermore, when we assign an academic task such as an essay, we are inviting you to join in an ongoing conversation about important issues, which requires your authentic engagement with the prompts we assign. Finally, this surprises a lot of students, but AI-generated text is actually rarely high-quality writing. First of all, it lacks voice and authenticity, so it sounds like a computer or a chatbot. Those of us who read student writing as our career, we notice when writing has quality voice and authenticity. I promise you, your voice will sound better than AI writing because your voice has your passion and authenticity behind it. AI also usually uses overinflated, vague language and concepts that often don't really align with what we expect to see or hope to see in student writing. We want to see you messily move through the writing process. That's where learning occurs. AI generated text often includes abstractions or circles around the real point of the discussion and almost always misses the mark of the assignment. Additionally, it may include inaccurate facts or information, as discussed earlier. With all of these considerations in mind, remember to avoid the use of AI in academic tasks unless specifically asked or invited to by your instructor or professor. Your authentic engagement with the ideas and tasks your coursework presents is much more valuable than any shortcut you could attempt to take. Remember, too, that feeling challenged by coursework in college is normal and expected. It's supposed to be challenging, as intellectual rigor defines the university's educational experience.